Hi, I'm Wes Allen with DM Tales, and today I'm looking at Monte Cook Games' take on post-apocalyptic play. This is my review of Rust and Redemption for the Cypher system. Let's roll it. Now, before we begin, I'd like to shout out everyone who has liked, commented, and shared any of the videos I post on this channel. The algorithm is not kind to smaller channels like mine, so it helps a lot. And if you'd consider doing those things for this video, I'd be most grateful. And if you want to keep up to date with DM Tales, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to know when I post new content to the channel. I also have to give a special shout out for my Ko-fi contributors who give direct support to this channel out of the kindness of their own hearts. If you'd like to become a channel member, the link is right over there. Finally, if you're looking for some fun shirts to wear, check out my new DM Tales merch store, which should have better turnaround times than the old shop and has fun designs like this one bearing an invitation through my channel motto, roll some dice. Worlds are waiting. With all that out of the way, let's get to the review. What makes Monte Cook Games genre books distinct are the essays on how to develop a game around the covered genre. And the essays in Rust and Redemption are just about the best I've read in any of those books. My favorite is on the themes for post-apocalyptic settings, which are found in Chapter 2. And this helped me understand why I enjoy some post-apocalyptic games and fiction over others. See, any post-apocalyptic game I run is going to lean heavy on hope, rebuilding, and rediscovery, because that's what drives me. These concepts are found in two of the themes explored in this book, Despair versus Hope and Rust and Redemption. These are also the themes that are found in the kinds of post-apocalyptic fiction and gaming I enjoy, such as The Stand, Gamma World, and Battlestar Galactica. Now, the two other themes, brutality versus humanity and survival, don't tend to pique my interest as much, and it's probably why I have always bounced off the Mad Max universe. It's interesting, but not quite for me. I also find predominantly survival narratives to be more stressful than fun, which is why I will never run a Mutant Year Zero game, even though it is a fantastic game. Although, if you keep your eyes opened, I contradict this second point below, so just keep a lookout for it. Now, the other essays in the book covered topics like realism in a post-apocalyptic setting, how the world ended, and the need to determine the whens of the world, when the collapse happened and when the game takes place in relationship to that collapse. These essays provide substantive fodder for the GMs as they set up the background narrative of their post-apocalyptic setting. See, in a realistic campaign which takes place near the collapse, the shelf life of common goods is going to play an important role in scavenging. And this book does a good job in helping GMs explore that topic, which is something I've never really considered. How the world ended is as important as when, because it helps set up the hazards which exist post-apocalypse. Did the world end in nuclear fire? Well, then radiation is going to be an ongoing issue. Did it end in a pandemic? The contagion might still be around. Is the world a simulation suffering from a fatal glitch? Well, weird things may be going on. Then Chapter 7 includes a wonderful list of options for both grounded and fantastical hazards set up as a roll table. And while I tend to not roll on tables to build my adventures, the contents in these are gold. The intelligent termites who steal equipment, that's probably my favorite. Now, when the world ended is important to set the base level of technology players may stumble across. Was the world Steam-based, modern and digital, or was it futuristic? When the game takes place is going to determine the state of abandoned infrastructure and technology. It's also going to influence how the PCs think about the collapsed world. Is it something they think of in mythic terms or with longing for their previous lives which are now lost? There's also a chapter which explores the creatures and the NPCs a party may encounter in that post-apocalyptic world. The new creatures included in the book are amazing, and they're presented with Monte Cook Games' signature narrative focus. Creatures are more than just stat blocks with chunks of health. They're creatures. Each has a motivation and behaviors which change how characters interact with them. The Hooked Blossom, found on page 104, that's a highlight for me. Now, I will say that much of this book is focused on a more grounded game. But I think that's because a grounded game actually takes more work to pull off. You can lose the suspension of disbelief for a while really easily with that. But gonzo post-apocalyptic play isn't ignored. Rust and Redemption includes a good amount of materials for creating a gonzo post-apocalypse. No matter what type of post-collapse game a GM may want to run, there's something for them in this book. Now, there's not a whole lot of new character options in the book, but Chapter 9 does include 8 new descriptors for post-apocalyptic play, split between grounded and fantastical styles. This includes 4 new species descriptors, canine, felis, flutter, and mutant, and that helps build a more fantastical post-apocalyptic world, more like Gamma World. In addition to the new descriptors, Rust and Redemption also adds 5 new foci. Yes, that is a legitimate and valid pronunciation of that word. These are merges mind with machine, prepped for the end, raids, remembers the past, and walks the wasteland. Each of these is built from common post-apocalyptic tropes, and they offer distinct ways characters can be connected to the group, as well as how they grow as the story progresses. It's really good stuff. An interesting addition to the game found in Chapter 11 is Scavenger Subtle Ciphers. Now, in-game, whenever a character would be eligible for a subtle, that is typically a non-physical cipher, a piece of salvage may appear, such as ammunition, construction supplies, edible food, and even transportation. Scavenger subtle ciphers are activated just like a normal cipher. They provide their one-time benefit and then they get removed from inventory. The in-game fiction is that these items, even if they aren't consumables, are just too fragile to be used more than once. Now, because they're dealing with physical objects, you might be wondering why they are subtle ciphers. That had me questioning it for a bit as well. Well, it's because they aren't being carried around on the body as the players travel. The benefits are discovered when they are activated. So if you have a subtle cipher for ammunition, you come across a box of ammunition suddenly without having to roll for it. I think that's pretty cool. In Radio Quiet Zone, the Y2K bug, it triggered the end of the world. The powers that be decided to release AI bots into the world's computer networks to fix the issue, but instead of fixing Y2K, the bots turned hostile to both humans and other AI instances. They started a war. Civilization collapsed. Humans who got connected to digital networks often became corrupted by the AIs, and people retreated from high population areas in order to survive. But in the radio quiet zone, where digital signals were restricted to prevent interference with a radio observatory, the AIs never managed to take control. Now, play in the zone begins 20 years after the collapse and includes 2 major factions which reside in the zone, each of which gets a chapter in the book. These factions aren't hostile to one another, but they are separate and have different goals. There's also a chapter providing snapshots of life outside the radio quiet zone, and there's enough in it to provide fodder for any GM wanting to expand their game out into the wider post-apocalyptic United States. There are 5 adventures included in Rust and Redemption, and while each of them can be tied to the included setting, only one is actually set inside the radio quiet zone. Now, out of all the adventures, Bitter Seeds is the type of post-apocalyptic adventure to which I'm drawn, as it's got the most Gamma World style feel. But it's actually Safe Zone, which is an adventure designed to play like an apocalyptic disaster movie. The apocalypse is in progress. That takes my crown as my favorite among the included adventures. There are changing game modes and shocking twists inflicted upon the players, all set against the backdrop of a world where chaos is establishing its reign. Safe Zone is perfect material for an exciting one-shot. However you look at it, and whatever type of adventure that you're drawn to, there's a lot of adventure to be had in this book. Rust and Redemption is a full-sized volume weighing in at 226 pages. And looking at the spine leads me to conclude that it's glued perfect bound binding, so it's not as durable as Monte Cook Games' notch-bound books, but it still feels put together pretty well. The cover art, as with all Monte Cook Games white spine books, is a glorious mesh of detail and abstract imagery. A silhouetted survivor stands before a ruined cityscape, while hints of overgrown vegetation protrude in from the sides. The orange and brown tones for the cover details are perfect for the book genre, and the distressed font chosen for the title text, just well chosen. The interior cover pages depict two different full spread scenes. The front is cautiously hopeful, while the rear is more desperate and brutal. Both pieces of art are bright and colorful, which is something not often associated with post-apocalyptic art, which tends to be more drab, and I actually love them all the more for it. The book also includes one of Monte Games' famous posters depicting the radio quiet zone setting, a map of it. I wish I had the wall space to hang all of MCG's posters up because they are quite good. If you have seen any of Monte Games' books, Rust and Redemption will feel familiar. Each section has its own highlight color drawn from the brown and orange palette used in the cover art. This color is utilized by that section's visual elements and headings. The side edges of each page are depicted as a collapsing wall, which highlights its post-apocalyptic content. The bottom of the spread gives the hint of dirt piles along the outer corners and the wisps of grass traveling along the bottom edge of the pages. It's a wonderful look, and those dirt piles serve as page number fields. It's really cool. Page headers extend from the outer edges of each page, sporting a rounded look akin to street signs, with the book's title on the left and the chapter title on the right. Each is depicted in a distressed font. The body text is laid out in two columns, taking up 2/3 of the page. The outer third of the page is reserved for column notes, which is an MCG staple. Now, these notes are used to cross-reference material in both the book itself and the Cypher System rulebook. It provides further context for statements that are made inside the body text, and even for creature stat blocks in some adventures. While the margin notes are a design feature which I love as a sighted person, I do have to bring up, as I do a lot of times with Monte Games reviews, that my friends who rely on screen readers hate these things because PDFs have no structure, and so readers have no idea how to present this layout in a non-visual way. So while I'm grateful for MCG putting out their books as PDFs, thank you very much, I do wonder if an EPUB with footnotes might be a better option than a PDF for folks with visual impairments. Now, section title pages, on the other hand, they're just amazing. Each depicts a ruined highway and a partially collapsed billboard. The billboard displays the section title, and a table of contents for that section appears below in a callout. Chapter titles appear in a rusted callout on the first page, with both the chapter number and title displayed in a decorative sans serif font, which is, as with many of the decorative fonts in this book, distressed. The artwork is beautiful. Probably some of my favorite in all of the Monte Games White Spine books, though there are a number of pieces that are repeated throughout its pages. Now, the art in Rust and Redemption often takes something ordinary and it tweaks it to feel alien, which is perfect for the genre. Whether you are running a Cypher System campaign or not, there is a dragon's hoard of information in Rust and Redemption for any GM looking to run a post-apocalyptic game. If that describes you, then this is a book you might want to consider. It reads well, the adventures are terrific, and Radio Quiet Zone might be one of my favorite post-apocalyptic settings ever. And I'm not usually inclined to go with a near to the apocalypse setting, so that's saying a lot. It's well done. You can pick up Rust and Redemption from Monte Games' website right now. The book alone costs $49.99, while the print PDF combo will set you back just under $56. Go check it out. Coming up on the channel, I can now start doing my Voices of the Datasphere review. I'm really looking forward to that because it's a very cool Numenera book that I've been wanting to get to for a while. I am almost done my read-through of both books in Dreams and Machines, and this is a masterclass in world building. I'm not sure what I think about the game yet. I do like the mechanics, but I'm still kind of chewing on it. So I'm going to get to that next. Ironbound is coming up. I got Star Trek Adventures. I got a zine game over there. I got Never Going Home. I've got, what else I got over here? I got Zombie Brain Eaters. I got all sorts of books, all sorts of games that I want to review and share with all of you. So I'm looking forward to getting these on the channel. Also, coming up on August 11th, we are going to be doing an adventure of Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program. I had to think a bit to get that name correctly, but it's going to be run by the game's designer, Brian Saliba. So I'm really excited about that. The fun will begin at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.